Been a while, how's it going, people? I miss when Call of Duty was simple. And I don't mean the game, I mean the process of downloading and starting the game, because the new Modern Warfare's entire existence is predicated on a return to the roots of the franchise, revisiting the original Modern Warfare series characters and story, and delivering a gameplay experience that feels modern yet familiar. But there is nothing familiar about all the bullshit you have to go through just to play this game. First of all, this Call of Duty requires internet in order to be played. You can't even play the campaign unless you are connected to the internet and have downloaded all the recent updates, including the 56GB one they just came out with that I assume fixed the server issues the game inevitably launched with, because of course it did. It's a Call of Duty game. What's the deal at this point? It's obviously not impossible to have stable launches, because they always seem to manage to do it like 12 hours after the game comes out. Do you just keep underestimating the volume of traffic? Well, quit it. Overestimate for once. I might not know the inner workings of how you make internet work in a video game, but I know you've had the technology for decades, and I don't think it's unreasonable to expect some kind of pattern of success to have emerged by now. But we're off track. So the game requires internet even to play single player, which is baffling. The other frustrating thing is how everything downloads separately now. You've got multiplayer, campaign, 2 different Spec Ops packs, the aforementioned 56 gig update, and then I even had to download a language pack. Like, what the fuck was that? That was 10 gigs. My region is US West. I don't speak Swahili or Megalovanian. Let me skip that. And because all these things download separately, there's no guarantee any of them will even be downloading when you think they are. Plus, you probably don't even know everything you're supposed to be downloading regardless, because we're used to only needing to download the game. I bought the disc version, which is something I haven't done for any game in years, because my dad's an OG Call of Duty fan, and I wanted to share it with him. And I put the disc in my PS4 and clicked on the dashboard icon to set the game to download, which it said would take like 35 minutes. And then I put it in rest mode. Then I played my Switch for 2 hours to pass the time. When I got back on, I clicked on the game on the dashboard, and it had only downloaded the base game and hadn't even started any of these other packs or the 56 gig update, because this fragmented download shit is garbage. So over the course of the next hour and a half, I had to individually download each part separately. Then I finally log on to the game after that massive update installs, and I try to play Spec Ops, and it won't let me. It says I've downloaded Spec Ops Pack 2, but not Spec Ops Pack 1. How this could have possibly transpired is beyond my greatest intellectually imaginative capabilities. It immediately takes me to the in-game store access, where it tells me the content I'm searching for is not available. I tried again 12 hours later, and it tells me the content I'm searching for is not available. I go to the PlayStation Store itself and search for the content, and it tells me the page is undergoing maintenance. This whole process needs to undergo maintenance. It also re-highlights one of the biggest flaws and broken promises of the PS4 system itself, which was the notion that playing your game before it finished downloading the application data was going to be this cool time saver. Like, oh, the full game is going to take 45 minutes, but the game will be playable in 15. Not if it requires internet, it won't, and not if it requires all updates, it won't, and also playing a game cuts your download speed by like 10,000%, so there's no point anyway. Technology is simultaneously the coolest and most disappointing thing in the universe. I hate to be a pessimist, but I always get burned by the promises of tech. I always want to believe the grand claims people make about the new stuff they're coming out with, and it's just never that cool, or there's some hidden caveat they're obfuscating, or it's a flat-out lie. Like, the PlayStation 5 and Project Scarlet are going to be our next-gen consoles, and as such, they'll become the new standard in a lot of ways. But whenever something innovates, so do its flaws. The flaws are evolving right along with whatever they're attached to, always, and we'll feel their effects, and it'll be a bummer. Take the Switch. That was a super hype machine, and it's delivered in a lot of ways, and it's a must-have system in my opinion, but it came with Joy-Con drift, no storage space, hyper-expensive controllers, horrible online connections, near-mandatory accessories like the Ethernet adapter, no built-in voice chat, but through a companion app nobody wanted to download because Discord is a thing. The laundry list goes on. We'll never have a perfect system, but some flaws are worse than others. I'm pretty much done with Call of Duty at this point, even when the concept is as promising as going back to the roots of when the franchise was at its peak. There's just all this modern, terrible garbage associated with it that drags it down. It's like how hyped we got for the Crash Team Racing remake, only to have them take the excellent base game and make it all Fortnite-y and trash, not to mention the Activision agreements that literally force you to press the R1 button 60 times to get through them. Not an exaggeration. Another thing I just noticed after booting the game back up for the first time in like 4 months, when they do the whole CTR TV broadcast with the announcers, they say live from Activision. happen. So the publisher put itself in its own game as the main broadcast network, which is the most egotistical fourth wall break I've ever seen. Oh, also they added microtransactions when they promised they wouldn't, but that's just Activision, who will never go out of business or be affected by any kind of consumer boycott because they drink lactating milk from the sloppy nipple of China, so that's neat. I just can't even enjoy the game because it feels so slimy. If you look at it from a purely content perspective, you're like, oh damn, they're killing it with all these free updates, but behind the free updates is the underhanded coaxing to spend money on all the not free stuff they're adding alongside it, and even beyond that, if you're just looking at what they're doing to the Crash universe as a whole, it's like every character from the entire franchise has collectively decided to sell out and pursue corporatism full time. It's just gross to watch. Mario Kart doesn't do that shit. You don't play Mario Kart and feel like the characters' souls have been signed away to the highest bidder. Mario Kart doesn't have that atmosphere. It doesn't feel produced. It doesn't feel like an esport taking place inside a video game, like Crash Team Racing or Rocket League is another good example. But Rocket League doesn't have beloved characters from a classic franchise whose innocent purity is being exploited, so nobody needs to care. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at SunburnedAlbino, and I'll see you guys next time.